Welcome to It's a Good Life, the podcast for entrepreneurs. Recently, Brian did a live broadcast on the state of the real estate market. You'll also hear a great Q&A session with our listeners. Here's Brian.
Top of the morning. Glad to be with everybody. I have a couple of things to share here today, just kind of a little bit of an overview of where we are. I'm going to share with you a little bit of what it means when it comes to the Do It Now campaign and executing on it. And then as I teased this morning a little bit, we have a big announcement coming. We're ready to help the industry make the significant changes it's going to make. I'm in the real estate business 38 years, and I will honestly tell you that the next 12 months will be the most dramatic change that I've seen in 38 years in real estate. There are going to be winners, there are going to be strugglers, and there's going to be a hell of a lot of people leaving the industry. There will be brokerages shutting down. There are major companies that are struggling post-lawsuit as they've lost 40% of their available cash. The National Association of Realtors is walking with a limp, and buyers are confused and sellers are confused. So everybody's confused. So we're going to try to bring some light to this and ultimately not just try to solve that problem, but to talk about where to go. Like we're going to cast a vision for the long term. So with that cheery introduction, let me talk a little bit about where we're at. For years, with our own research and the research of the market, basically since 1908, the real estate market has had a certain rhythm in regards to when homes are listed, when the normal buying and selling cycles are for customers, and what that looks like. And we named this years ago the Dooley curve after the place where we did all the research for the information. And so basically what it looks like is that, 40% of all listed homes take place in the spring. No shock there. 20% in the middle of the summer, and then 25% in the fall going into December. And so then obviously that doesn't make up 100%. There's another 15%. That just happens in these other months. And that's been the case pretty consistently for the last 40 years. I mean, there's been a few changes here and there, and sometimes you get into weather patterns and things like that. There's been September 11th or COVID and these types of giant interruptions, if you will, and I don't want to trivialize those things, but, market changes. But other than that, that's been the Dooley curve. What we talked about it last year, and I'm going to say last year's bold predictions, and I'm going to talk about this year's mid-year bold predictions that you're not going to want to miss on July 22nd. We're going to end up forecasting the numbers right and got the rates wrong. That's the best way I could describe it. Consensus opinion was there was going to be 6 rate cuts. I felt there would be 3. Not felt, I kind of did some pretty good research on it. And I'll get into during the mid-year bold predictions why that hasn't happened. What are the actual economic forces that are forcing the hand of the Federal Reserve not to reduce rates? By and large, here's what you're going to do. We might get 1 rate cut this year, and it might be after the election, which is a really interesting thing. You're looking at this. Market forces are so strong that the rebound we were talking about in sales is already beginning, and it's beginning in a high interest rate environment. So demand is that high, and people are becoming a little more immune to the rates over time. It was a shock factor because the rates went from 3 to 8, and now we're down in the low 7s. It's not as shocking to people. They've been dealing with it now for the best part of a year. So people are becoming a little immune to it. Housing needs are housing needs. People got to move. You have babies. I don't care what the interest rates are. You can't be all living in the same room. You want to downsize and move somewhere warmer, somewhere cheaper, somewhere wherever, you're going to go do that. And so even though there's been a reluctance for people to make a move because of the rates, it's happening. So what we have talked about last year and what I would say is that we're looking at an inverted Dooley curve. So normally you have that 40% at the beginning of the year and that 25% at the end. What we're going to see in 2024 is an inversion of this. And what we have seen, by the way, and this was predicted in December for you guys, so keep tuning in. It turned out to be around 25% of sales already, listings in the springtime. Summertime is going to hold steady. But every indication is, and we're already seeing this in sub-markets, that the fall is going to have a big impact. In fact, we're starting to see certain markets. I was on a conference call with someone from Reno the other day, and he's like, yeah, I'm going to take 11 listings in the next 12 days, and I haven't had 11 listings all year. So we're starting to see some things shake loose. And again, I'm going to go more into this, but basically that's why we still want to work this Do It Now campaign. That's why we want to stay consistent with sending out the mailers and making the calls and doing that kind of stuff. A quote here from Jessica Lotz of NARB. And she goes, this week's economic releases show a spring landscape that is taking longer to bloom. Well, good insight, Jessica. And you guys heard it here in December. And so, look, we got some pretty extensive research. And again, I don't claim to be perfect. I'm going to be the first to say I missed the interest rates this year, and I'm going to miss the interest rates this year. It's not going to hit the number I was hoping for. And I'm hoping for that number for a lot of reasons. I'm also hoping that number so credit card interest can come down and car loans can come down for the overall well-being of the consumer. But the Do It Now campaign is designed a certain way. Many of you are participating. You're getting the marketing. You're sending it out. You're using the social media. You're doing those things. And we're seeing the results. It's based on the research and the science of the 10 top reasons why people are moving. People are moving closer to family. People need a bigger space. Love the rate, but the house no longer fits our need. People with legacy real estate, it's becoming a more and more significant thing and will become a huge thing in the years to come as all these baby boomers are divesting themselves of real estate. Lots of equity, lots of choice. The vacation home, I'm going to talk about that here in a second. much more significant than ever before. Vacation home barely made the top 10 in years gone by in motivations for purchase. It's gone up much higher. So guess what? We built the marketing kit and the marketing system to target market each one of these groups, sometimes with a little overlap, but to create an opportunity for you to call, follow up, and generate a lead. So I'm going to point out, and again, from more and more frequently now, I hop out there on the member sites and the white hat sites and all this stuff and what's going on social media. And I get a kick out of it. I enjoy hearing you guys interacting. And sometimes, got to be honest with you, I hold my nose or I put my hand over my mouth and go, ooh, okay, I'll let you guys sort that out. But I'm going to address a comment that came up the other day because this person said this, and we don't have this person's name or image on here because I don't want to blast anybody. But this is not an uncommon thing I've seen. It was interesting to see the responses from the community, but I want to walk you through this system right now and how it's designed to work. This person posted, "Hi friends, I'm disappointed in the item of value," that's the mailer, "for June. And I'm trying to find one that I can use in its place. So the decision's already made. This isn't going to work. I'm going to use this in my place. I'm finding that the bonus items value don't have a corresponding letter. Am I wrong? Is anyone doing something different this month they wouldn't mind sharing? Thanks and wishing you all a happy Memorial Day." So this just came down. Now, it was interesting and kind of cool to see many of the veterans who've been in our system a long time respond. So here's Deanna Boone. "Hey, stop overthinking. Just trust the system and send it out. I've been one-on-one coaching for 16 years. I never stopped the item of value from going out. Just do it." Okay. Another person going, "Hey, do it now." Here's Yvonne Hoffman. She's in our coaching program for 12 years. Just trust the system. Another person says, "Do it now." Chuck Syverson. Chuck's been with me 17 years. Trust the system. The system's your friend. And he says, "In Buffini Company, we trust." Jennifer Roy says, "Trust the system. You'll be glad you did." Okay, so let me tell you what that comes from. For years, we told people, trust the system, work the system, and then it was trust your coach. We're not asking people to have blind faith, and I'm going to walk you through all that today. We're not asking people to have blind faith. But let me say this, the kind of person that typically has these concerns and is convinced of it, in their profile, as we've done work with the profile in our coaching system, is often an attribute called craftsman. Sometimes people are like, "Oh, that color doesn't work in East Alberta. I don't like the usage of that term," or this and that. It's a craftsman. It's a gift, like all gifts. And like all gifts, they got to be managed. So what happens is there's this gift. "Oh, I have this craftsman." And in this case, this person's like, "Hey, the June mailer was about a vacation home. Most of my clients aren't buying vacations. So most of my people don't have money for that. They're just trying to buy a home or get along or whatever else. So the presumption, the projection is, hey, this won't fit the needs of my customers." So it's all good stuff. This is not a bad thing. It's just a bad conclusion. So it's not bad thinking. It's just a bad conclusion. And that's why we always need help. That's why we need coaching, where somebody goes, no, I get what you're saying, but your conclusion is wrong. And in some cases, these conclusions cost a lot of money. So here's the mailer in question. And it's beautiful. What if we could buy a vacation home? We could work remotely. See, here's the thing. By 2025, on the mailer, it says 32.6% of Americans will work remotely, even higher percentage in Canada. So what's happening is people are venturing into vacation homes at both rental and purchase as a way to practice this work from home. And what's happening, and it's a huge dynamic that's taken place, that people are then actually not just, they're moving to areas that they want to move, that they think is a vacation home, and they're using it as kind of a stepping stone. So it's a very different dynamic than ever before. So it's not like, oh, is everyone in my database capable of buying a vacation home? Am I alienating people in my database? That's just not the whole point. The whole point is to create conversations. The whole point is to provide value. The whole point is that so people look at it and go, that's interesting. That's interesting. And puts you in a position of being the expert. And by self-editing this, why I really don't want to be judged. I don't want people to think I don't get them. Now all of a sudden I'm not going to send it out. Now what am I doing? So I want to walk you through this. So here's the campaign for June. Here's the do it now. So we have the mailer with front and back of it. And then we have the e-report. Then we have the social media infographics. And then we have the note cards. All designed, graphically designed, communicated, designed, all laid out. And it's designed to create conversations. It's designed for you to follow up and have a conversation. Now, again, statistically, and I want to walk you through the logistics of this, 21.5% of the labor force will work remotely by 2025, okay? So over 1 in 5 workers will work remotely by next year. I'm not talking about 10 years from now. So this is on people's minds now. What are the principles for the marketing system? Well, we want to wow the agent. Well, obviously, we didn't wow this person because they're overthinking it. Second, intrigue their customer. This absolutely will intrigue the customer almost more than anything else you've sent them this year, and then creates an opportunity for a follow-up call. It's not just what they know, it's who do they know. That you may have, I got a young person who's trying to buy their first house. Great. Their boss might be interested in buying a vacation home. It's the conversation. And I'm going to walk you back to 101 school here of working by referral. So let's say you manage to make 100 calls this month. For the next 30 days, the month of June, you call 100 people and ask them, hey, did you get what I sent you in the mail? Did you get what I sent you with an e-report? Have you seen any of my social media posts? Like 1 out of every 5 people is working remotely. And a lot of people are using a vacation home as a stair step to do that. Yeah. If you know anybody like this, give me a call with their name and number. I'll be happy to follow up and help them, give them any information they might need. By the way, if they're moving out of state or to a different area, I'm part of the nation's most prolific network of agents. And I'd be happy to refer you to someone. Oh, they're going to Florida? I have people down there. They're going to California? I have someone there. They want to go to Texas? I have someone there. They're going to Tennessee? I have someone there. It's a great conversation. Now, watch the numbers. Like the average sphere of influence, according to the Gallup organization, for decades, this number's been around the same. 285 people. This is 285 people. You go say, hey, check out the taco stand in Encinitas. It's got great tacos. You might want to check out the movie Oppenheimer. It's a great movie. Just thought I'd mention that. The average person has a sphere of influence of 285. Now, that's far bigger in today's world because of the online sphere of influence. So every one of your clients can do this. But we're just talking about people now, old school, phone in hand, talk to someone at work, at church, at a ballpark, in social settings, family members. That means if you call 100 people and they all know 285, the cumulative imprint is 28,500. There'll probably be some overlap here and there, but that's the number of impressions. Not like impressions like an online impression. That's impressions where people are impressed upon through relationship. Now, let's say 21.5% of those people are going to work remotely next year. That's 6,100 people that you're connected to through your 100 phone calls. This is why I made $1 million a year in real estate 30 years ago. This is why I was a millionaire at 26. Not because I can't send out this marketing piece. It's because I sent out stuff that wasn't as good as this, by the way. And then I followed up with phone calls because I knew it wasn't who they were, it was who they knew. This is the math. The 100 people, that's on you. Can you call 100 people? Call 100 people in a month. Break it down. Okay? It's 5 calls a day, 20 days out of the month. It's 100 calls. I'm not asking you to climb Mount Everest. We're asking you to call 100 people you know after sending them something kind of cool. That's what I'm asking you to do. You want to become a millionaire? That's what I'm asking you to do. Do you have anything else? Do you have any AI, Bri, that we could work with? Is there any online lead generator you could sell me? Because I'd rather do that than call 5 people a day. I'd really like you to become a millionaire. Come on in. The water's warm. We'd love to have you in the club. But you got to do this kind of stuff. 21.5% of these people are going to work remotely. That's 6,100 connected people through your phone calls. So let's say 10% of them are leads. That's 600 leads. And let's say you just aren't very good at lead conversion and you manage to convert 1% of the leads. That's 6 leads. 6 qualified, referred, endorsed leads. That's the price of not sending out a mailer. That's the price of not following up with a phone call. That's the price. These are basic numbers. For those who've been like Chuck Syverson doing it 17 years, but Chuck can probably convert at a higher rate than 1%. So can Deanna Boone. So can Yvonne Hoffman. And so can Jennifer Roy. Why? Because they've been practicing this thing a long time. And then they do real well when they do this system at all. So I understand it. I'm not coming down hard on this individual because this is a common thing I see. And it's a little bit of perfectionism, wondering about what your clients will think, overthinking it and being fearful. And when you send them my items of value out, and when you call behind, you don't have to guess anymore. They'll actually tell you what they think. So a little bit of a coaching session here this morning. I've seen that stuff out there. And I'm like, hey, I don't think in a market like this you can afford to mess around. I don't think in market conditions like this you can afford to miss out on opportunities. So a good coach, which is I try to be as representing a coaching organization, Tom Landry said a coach is someone who tells you what you don't want to hear, who has you see what you don't want to see, so you can be who you've always known you could be. That's what we're open for business. And that's why I say, like that person, let me tell you this, the best thing you could do is get a coach. Because a coach is going to walk you through something like this personally, walk you through how to go about it, walk you through, and then celebrate with you on the other side when you go, you're not going to believe this. I got 6 qualified leads from this thing. You're not going to believe it. And we believe it all the time. So just like I say, do it now. Just do it. Just do it. Just do it. Just don't overthink it. Just do it. Don't spaz out about what to write in the note. Just write the note and send it out. Just make the phone call, follow up. Just do it. Just do it. Now is the time to be doing it. The Dooley curve is coming, and it's by the fall, right? It's the end of May. We just had Memorial Day. It's the beginning of summer. People start thinking about vacations, and I just tell you, the selling season's upside down. Now is the time. And so now is the time to persevere. Keep sending out the mailers we're giving you. Use the system. Send the e-reports. Use the social media. I just recorded a couple of new social media posts for you yesterday that you're really going to love. Some real kind of, did you know type stuff for your customers. Also, we're going to help you. And then this is a big deal. I want you to mark your calendars and tell your friends. July 22nd is our mid-year bold predictions. During our mid-year bold predictions, we are going to be launching maybe as big an innovation as we've had since we first brought the referral system to the marketplace in 1996. During bold, I'll be doing the state of the market. I'll be bringing in an expert that's world-renowned on the new rules of real estate. We've had, like I say, the Department of Justice, these lawsuits, and now the FCC. The FCC's gotten involved not so much with real estate, but with lead generation, and has changed the game completely. So we're going to walk you through that. Then we're going to introduce a brand new program. And what we are introducing on July 22nd is a training program called CFSP. And what that stands for is a Certified Full Service Professional. Everybody right now needs to get trained up, obviously, on buyer's agency, how you need to interact with the seller, how is compensation going to work in commissions. And there's no doubt those things have to be trained and taught. And we have dialogue scripts, listing presentations, buyer presentations, resources, marketing pieces, Here's all the things I do for a buyer. Here's all the things I do for a seller. We have a complete program that we've built out for you. The official training will start the day after the lawsuit is ratified, which right now is scheduled August 17th. So August 18th is going to be the start of our certification program, the day after the lawsuit is ratified. But the whole purpose of this is it is a call and a call out to the industry for excellence. And there's going to be a great dividing line here. There's just a bunch of people, Aunt Mary, who's been doing the 1 or 2 deals a year, or the part-timer, or those kinds of folks. The majority of people in real estate work with buyers. They're more comfortable working with buyers. And one of the reasons for that is they don't have to sit down and walk through their fees and all that kind of good stuff. And going forward, you're going to have to explicitly let a buyer know what their responsibility is for the compensation you're going to receive. Now, how it works out, it's already playing out very similarly to the way real estate has always played out. But I'm going to share with you that what I just talked about, most people in this business will not be able to do. They will not be able to sit down with a buyer, establish a relationship, get them to sign a buyer's agency agreement that commits the buyer that one way or the other, here's my compensation to represent you, and here's all the things I'm going to do. That is going to drive out hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people out of this business. It's also going to usher in an era, and it's already started, where people are starting to go with what they call cafeteria pricing. Oh, I'll charge you $500 for showings. I'll charge you $800 for the offer process. I'll charge you X $100 to get you through the escrow. And you're going to see that. You're going to see a lot of online competition. You see Zillow, who's been greatly affected by this FCC, as well with all online lead generators, are now trying to actively get in the game. And Zillow's come up with its own open house policy and 7 days of a showing without a commitment and all these types of things. You're going to see all this stuff. And you're going to see a myriad of people come in with the latest fad and the latest this and latest that. And God bless them all. They're all welcome. Real estate commissions have been negotiable for my entire 38 years in the business, and they still are. Nothing's changed because of the lawsuit or the DOJ. Services have to be communicated. Value has to be communicated, and people need to decide. Let me just say this. The consumer is going to decide. And you know what the consumer has decided? The vast majority of these people do not want to represent themselves, do not want to do all the work, and do not want to mess up on the single largest purchase they have in their life. So what we're going to do at Buffini & Company is we are making a commitment to serve people who are only going to serve at the very top end of real estate. And when I mean the top end, I'm talking about full service professionals. Full service professionals. We're making a commitment to work with the people who are going to offer full service, extraordinary purchasing and selling experiences, and are paid appropriate fees for their efforts. To me, the days of the Aunt Mary, the days of the part-timer, the days of the person doing the onesie-twosie buyer deals are gone. Those people are not going to have the chops to sit down with a buyer and tell them what's up. Full service excellence. That's what we're making a commitment to. And I want to give you a definition of this. It's the act of going beyond customer expectations and delivering an industry-leading experience that really wows your customers. Here's the bottom line. Buffini & Company is only going to work with people who are going to do that. We are only going to train people who are going to do that. We are going to make a commitment of who we're not going to do business with as an organization. So we are making a commitment, and as we speak, the team is putting together this incredible process and program called Certified Full Service Professional. A designation that we're going to have you'll put it on your business card, you'll be putting it on your mailers, and you'll be letting your clients know what you do, what you stand for, and how you do it. And so this is kicking off on the mid-year bowl prediction, so make sure you're there for that. But the bottom line is we're producing a world-class training program, unlike anything we've ever done. So we're bringing in world-renowned thought leaders who are going to come in and share their insights on communication, on negotiation, on how to break the patterns of what's going on in both an industry and in the mind of a customer. And then along with that, very specific dialogues, presentation tools, resources, marketing materials, branding materials, how to build a world-class, unique selling proposition. So you have to stand out amongst the competition. You have to tell people what you're going to do, what their experience is going to be, and why they're going to pay you what they're going to pay you, because you're a full-service professional agent. You're going to see this malaise in the real estate business for the next few years. You're going to see companies, and it's very unfortunate. I feel very bad. The major brands have had just the snot knocked out of them by having 40% of their available cash taken away by these lawsuits. You're looking at any company over $2 billion in sales. There's 87 of them. NAR recovered and did a great job covering all the agents of all the companies. But there's 87 companies where these lawyers are still going to shake them down. And that's all it's been. This has been nothing more than a lawyer's shakedown of an industry. It has hurt the industry. It's hurt the companies in the industry. And it's hurt the consumer. And the very thing they accuse the industry of doing is now going to happen, which is the consumer is going to have to be faced with, okay, I have to find a way for my representative to be compensated. And they're going to have to find out if the home I want to look at there's compensation available for them. That's never been the case. It's the case now. And so we're going to help train you up. We're going to give you the dialogues. We're going to give you the presentations. We're going to give you all the dynamics to help with the lawsuit, to help with this new era of real estate. But the big picture, and that's why even our Canadian friends watching today, the big picture is we are going to help raise the standard and create a certification, ongoing certification program that raises the standard for people to be certified as professionals in this business, present themselves as professionals. We're going to have those certifications designated even on our own directory. so you guys can find each other. And the goal is to promote the people who only operate at the highest level, who are only going to provide superb service, and I expect to be compensated appropriately for providing superb service. And the rest of the business is the rest of the business. And me and my company are not here to serve those folks. That's just the way it is. I'm not interested in doing that. I'm not interested in putting my name to a Mickey Mouse real estate business. So that's coming July 22nd. So we're going to have big time guest on the show. I'm going to give you updated, very significant bold predictions where I'm able to break it down month by month, what's going to happen the rest of this year. And then we're going to launch the CFSP program and how you can get involved with that.
To register for bold predictions, go to itsagoodlife.com/bold2024. Back to you, Brian.
So that's it. I'm very excited for us, very excited for all those we're going to serve, very excited for people who commit to this. Their future is very bright. Their future is very profitable. Qualified customers, qualified leads, qualified business, excellent service, a commitment to wow your customers, and customers who want to be wowed. And the people who want to bottom feed and nitpick on the fees and this and any other, they got options. They can do it themselves. They can get a cafeteria agent who can chip away and do this and that. They can work with Zillow and Pillow and all the other people. But they're just not my customer, and they're not my customer's customer, right? So that's where we're going. And I really believe the business right now is at the road less traveled. It's a fork in the road. And people are going to have to choose to go one of two ways. They're either going to go full service, full professional service, appropriate professional fees, or they're going to meander down this road into what will be the lowest common denominator. What's the least I can do, and what are the fees that are just attracting no attention, but what will be the bottom feeding client. So there you go. So open to you guys, Derek. You have people on the line, I presume. If you have a few questions, now's a good chance.
We do. And people are very excited about the CFSP. The chat is blowing up on Facebook about that. I know people can't wait for more information. So to get all the details, make sure you tune into Brian's mid-year bold predictions. That's July 22nd. That's Monday, July 22nd, 10 a.m. Pacific time. Make sure you register at buffini.com/bold2024 FB, buffini.com/bold2024 FB. And, we love seeing with this, a lot of folks out there, they get their whole offices together to watch this, do kind of a watch party deal. So get your whole office together, watch it. And then as always, we are never too busy for your referrals. I'm sure all of you know at least one person out there that could use this update on this information. So who do you know? Who do you know that could benefit from this mid-year update? Send them the link, get them to the mid-year bold predictions. I want to get as many people on here as possible so they can see what's up. All right, great stuff. Our first question comes from our good friend, Sally Masters out in Naples, Florida. She's got a great question about pricing. A lot of people in the market are overpricing, and despite the best efforts, they're not listening. So it needs a little advice on how to get those price adjustments and get things marketed properly. So Sally, welcome to the broadcast. Go ahead and ask your question to Brian.
Thank you, Derek. Hi, Brian. How are you?
Hey, Sally.
Hi. Thank you so much. After 24 years in real estate down here in the Naples to Cape Coral area market, 21 years plus in one-to-one coaching, and I just did 100 Days to Greatness not long ago to brush up on all my skills that I'm always learning. And a few of the listing appointments I've been on lately, I have been stumped. And none of these sellers want to listen. I was on a listing appointment, and they're actually getting divorced, and the husband wants to list the house $55,000 more than it is worth. And I gave them both the data. I pointed out that the house that was the most expensive one that has sold was literally redone, everything brand new in it, turnkey furnished, model ready. And people want to list at least 20 to 30% higher than anything has closed for. And nobody will listen. We have an excess of homes on the market. They're all sitting on the market for at least 90, 120 days, even longer right now, and nothing is moving, but nobody wants to listen. And I keep telling people, I don't like listing homes. I like selling them.
No, it's great. Look, you're in one of those markets. Like there's a series of markets around the country that have had big run-ups. And Naples would be one of them. And what happens is these things level off. Miami, other places like that. There's been a big run-up in a whole host of markets. And they're so used to hearing, oh my gosh, there's no inventory. And so what happens is they buy into this. Now you have, on top of that, you have a divorce situation. And I wouldn't normally advise this, but I would advise this in a divorce situation, which is there's always different agendas going on in a divorce. That's why there's a divorce happening in the first place. And you have one person who wants to control and one person who wants to move and one person who doesn't. And, one person's more up for the divorce than the other and all those kinds of things. So what I have historically done is I'll take this listing on this basis that I will do this marketing. I'll report in, I'll do this whole thing, but that we're going to have a stair-step set of reductions in price if the house doesn't move. If in 30 days we're coming down to this, and in 60 days we're coming down to this, and in 90 days we're coming down to this. And if we don't do that, then there's no point in me representing you. Sometimes it satisfies the ego. Sometimes they need to feel the pressure. But it's like if the property sits here in 30 days we'll come back and revisit it, but we're automatically reducing it to this. That's what I would do. A divorce is a difficult scenario. You have to be careful. A lot of times they burn up the first realtor, and you can't be that person. The second thing is you've got to get some real-time local info and share it with them. And you just need to know, like right now we're in a micro market. Okay, so if you go looking on CNN or MSNBC or CNBC or Fox News or whatever else, you're going to get national news. But this is a micro market right now. We've had a big run-up here in town. We've had all these people move to the state. And by the way, right now, the tide has been stemmed somewhat. And so there's a number of markets like this, Nashville, places that have had huge run-ups that are starting to see a leveling or even a decreasing in price. So you're more familiar with it. You're more aware of it. They're not as aware of it. They still think there's a massive shortage and that people are moving down from New York in the busload by the week and they're all coming to Naples. So you have to give them the micro market information. I would go at them and say, I'll take this listing under the following conditions. If they don't go for that, then say the great phrase I learned from Dave Liniger 30 years ago, which is, I'd rather disappoint you tonight than let you down 6 months from now. And you're in a situation where you have a divorce there, Sally. The pressure is going to build inside. The person who wants to get out of the marriage the most is the person who's going to create the steam for the price to come down. Okay? Yeah, it's challenging. It's challenging. I mean, that's you have a challenging market and you got super challenging clients. So that's, at the end of the day, send out the who wants a vacation home and find some happy people. I appreciate you, Sally. You've been with me 21 years. I remember the first day we met. You're a great lady and you do a great job. And I hear it in your voice. You care deeply. And that's what it's all about. So just do your best and then go find the next one.
All right. Thank you so much, Brian.
Thanks, Sally.
Great stuff. Great stuff. Thank you, Sally. All right. Our next question comes from Matt in Denver, Colorado. Go easy. Still reeling a little bit from the NBA results with the Nuggets there. But Matt has a question about overthinking and what you mentioned. You did that great breakdown of making the calls to your database and how those numbers show up when you've got a smaller database. So Matt, take it away.
Hey, Matt. How you doing?
Thank you for rubbing salt back in the wounds there, Derek. I'm doing good, Brian. And I realized attending Peak, I guess I didn't know how much of an overthinker I was. And now I'm realizing that, holy cow, that's there. And when you were showing those basic numbers, my mind immediately went to, I'm 20 years in the industry. I've had some pretty good success, struggling right now. And I looked at that and went, man, I don't have 100 A's. If I were to make 100 calls a month, I would be going through 92% of my database every single month. So I guess my question is, when I look at that and go, gosh, that should be so easy, but it's not for me because my database isn't large enough, my mind goes, well, do I just need to grow my database?
Let me ask you this. When was the last time you called everybody in your database?
Everybody? I don't know that I ever have, to be honest with you. I have probably some C's in there that I haven't called.
Great. There it is. So why don't you go do that? It's interesting. Like, here's what's great. And I really appreciate your candor here. Your question is about overthinking, and then your application is overthought. So your first application to this is to overthink the overthink. Why don't you go just, like I say, look at the sign over my shoulder. Do it now. Why don't you call everybody you know in your database? Call them specifically behind the item of values you're sending them. Ask them how they're doing. Leave compelling messages when they don't answer the phone, okay? Why don't you go do that? And why don't you engage for a month in all these people? Like, okay, your business is down. Well, guess what? We're at the lowest sales since 1993 when there were 80 million people less living in the United States. So you're not alone, bro. Buffini Company's business is down. But I'm investing. I'm doing more. Like you're seeing me on Facebook Live today, right? This is me reaching out to my database. So you do the things that got you there. And so my encouragement to you is start with your favorite people and work your way out, okay? Your job today is in the month of June. You got 2 days to prepare, so you don't have to overthink it. And starting the beginning of June, I want you to call everybody in your database. Check it in, see how you're doing. I've been sending you these mailings. I want to know if you find the stuff interesting. How's life? And if you have any real estate questions, I'm here for you, okay? I want you to reach out to everybody in your database in the month of June. Watch what happens. Just don't think, just do. That's got to be your line. That's from Top Gun. I don't know if you saw the Top Gun movie.
Oh, many times.
Well, the phrase that was in there was don't think, just do. In fact, Anna, when she was going into the World Cup, she had the Top Gun music. And Stefan Peters, who's a 5-time Olympian, and he's really, he and Anna are competing to be on the Olympic team right now in Europe. I'm going out there next week. But he said to her as a word of encouragement before she went in to the arena, he said, because it's a world championship and there's tens of thousands of people there, she's playing the Top Gun music and he says, hey, Anna, don't think, just do. And that's a 5-time Olympian. And by the way, that was great advice. Just be present, go ride your horse. She finished 6th. She was scheduled to finish 20th. She had a great performance. So my encouragement, buddy, is the month of June, don't think, just do. And even while you're doing, don't think. Where the thinking comes in is the reactions you get from people who will call you back, conversations you end up having. Just do it. Watch what happens. Watch what happens. I promise you, watch what happens. It's shocking. And you will get back on one of these calls at some point in time and say, you're not going to believe what happened, Brian. Make that commitment. Call everybody in your database the month of June. Don't think any past that. Don't think about making your database bigger. Don't think about anything else. Don't think about, oh my gosh, I'm closer to some of these people than others. You just got to do it. It's fear presenting itself in the form of procrastination. And then it goes into overthinking. And then what ends up happening is we end up abdicating. And this is how people go down the road. Next thing you know, you've got a $10,000 investment into online leads, or you got this going on with AI, and you got this going on. And all it is, I need to get on the phone, call people, and I get into a rhythm. And the first couple of hours of it is awkward. And then the next few days of it are great. And then you start getting callbacks, and I'll be like, hey, this is fantastic. And then you wake up one morning and you go, man, this is what I do it for. Like being with these people and knowing how these people think about me. And that's why I do it. This is what I actually enjoy about the business. And along comes a few leads. And so I promise you, if you do it, it's going to work.
Perfect. I appreciate it. Well, my coach, and we'll commit to that. Thank you.
Let me know how it goes. Derek's got your name. We're going to follow up with you.
Perfect. Thanks, Brian. I appreciate it.
Great. Okay, DJ.
Our next question comes from Kevin in Dallas, Texas. He's a little bit new to the system, not new to the industry, but new to working by referral. And he's got a question, needs a little bit of advice on weathering the storm that we're in. So Kevin, you are up. Go ahead and ask your question to Brian.
Hey, thank you guys. I appreciate it. And I was just so shocked. Derek remembered exactly who I was when we met here in Dallas. So thank you for having me on.
Yeah, man. Well, that's the business we're in, relationships.
Yeah. He even wrote me a handwritten card. I was so impressed.
What? No.
Yeah. So thanks for having me on, Brian. So I'm a 17-year broker associate and underperforming veteran. I really enjoyed seeing y'all here in Dallas. I just was hoping you could give me some ideas, and you may have just answered it with Matt's question, of what I could do to lift my business in high-speed mode since things are getting tight financially. And I definitely want to stay in the industry. And every 3 or 4 years, I find myself faced with this dilemma of having to go get a part-time or full-time job elsewhere. And I really want to avoid having to do that. So I'm just curious about your recommendations for somebody.
Do you get the kit every month? Do you get the resources every month?
Yes, sir.
Great. So this is where you're going to start. The reason why you're having these peaks and valleys is because you tend to take your foot off the gas on the lead generation. Underperforming vets are kind of our specialty at Buffini Company. So what happens is there's this rhythm, and sometimes the market gets hot and sometimes you get hot and you do the activities, or the market does the activities for you to generate a bunch of customers. And then when you get the customers, you go into real estate mode and you're showing houses or listing houses, and you're taking photographs and putting stuff in the MLS, and you're doing this and you're doing that, and you're doing the negotiations and you're doing the inspections and you're doing all the different stuff, and meeting with the contractors and the appraisers, and you do this and you do that, and then you get to the settlement. And if there's a couple of deals in the hopper, you're really happy out because you're working and doing deals. And then when the deals end, that's when you get around to thinking about doing lead generation. You just gave the answer to your own question when you came on this call. You said, thank you, Derek. You remembered my name. And Derek wrote me a handwritten personal note. And I send you those notes every month.
Yeah.
In that kit.
Right.
How did you feel that someone remembered your name and wrote you a note?
Yeah, priceless. I mean, and he remembered me when I called in. I didn't even have to tell him who I was.
The bottom line is you're in the relationship business and you're in the lead generation business, and you're going to combine those activities with that kit to do it on a regular basis. Now, what I want you to do is do this. I want you to set a goal that every note card in your box is going to be used through the end of the year, and that you're going to make, the number. There's a win the day formula that we have. In fact, we'll post it, of how many calls you need to make every day, and how many notes you need to write, and how many pop-bys you need to do a week, right? I think it's 5 calls a day, 5 days a week. I think it's 2 notes a day, 5 days a week, and it's 7 pop-bys a week. Kevin, that sounds pretty easy, right? 5 people in your database, 2 personal notes, and 7 pop-bys in a week, okay? Our average customer makes over $400,000 a year. You're talking about tens of thousands of people. And they're smarter than Kevin. They have a better database than Kevin. They live in a better city than Kevin. Nope. None of that's true. So the key is, it's the consistency, It's 5 calls every day. It's 2 notes every day. It's 7 pop-bys every week. Now, ultimately, for you, I'm going to say for you, if you do this, if you'll follow this system for the rest of the year, and then by the end of the year, have a goal in place to have a coach, you'll never think about getting out of real estate again, and you'll never think about having a part-time job again. Never. And just so you know, the great grandmaster himself talking to you, in my second year in real estate, I was within a couple of days of driving the super shuttle at night to support my real estate business. Okay? Yeah. And I was going to do real estate during the day and take people to the airport at night because I wasn't going to do it. And finally, what happened for me is I actually went to a seminar. So I'm in the seminar business today, and I wrote some extremely compelling goals. And I got so pissed off at myself that I'll allow myself to get in this situation. Well, let me just say this, Kevin. I've never thought about driving the super shuttle since. It's one of the reasons why the limo drivers that drive me everywhere I go, they always get well tipped, because I always think that could have been me on the other side of the wheel there.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. If you will do this for the next 6 months, because here's what happens. Right now is the bottom of the market, right? Warren Buffett, when's the time to buy real estate? When blood's flowing in the street. There's thousands of people about to get out, Kevin. Like, you're 17 years in. All of that goodwill you've established. If you can hang tough for this next 6 months, as the market turns around, and it will, by the end of the year, you're in a catbird seat. And now the rates come back. Now what happens is people are thinking about jumping back in the business or whatever. And again, it'll be slower than it ever was before. But now you have less competition for more business. Now that doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out. You're in the spot where you have a chance to do the work now, that when the market turns, all this work you're doing is going to turn. You're planting seeds today that you're going to harvest in the fall. Every farmer knows that principle. But in real estate, we live month by month. So what I'm going to ask you to do is suck it up. And rather than think about getting another job, I will tell you the other job you need to get right now is work by referral. Work it fully. Make the calls. Do the notes. Do the pop-bys. Don't even look to the left or don't look to the right. Don't give yourself an out. If you were in a situation where you had to do it and you had no other option, you were going to get executed if you didn't succeed in real estate. You'd find a way to get it done. And that's how you have to approach it. So don't give yourself an out. Don't go get some part-time job you despise. Do the job you really want to do. You're 17 years of this because you want to do it. It's a very common mistake. It's taking your foot off the gas when things get busy, when you're doing the deals. It's a very common mistake. It's the reason why coaching exists, to be honest with you. And so it's very common. But I want you to commit today. Matt is going to call everybody in his database in the month of June. I want you to do the 5, 2, 7 through the rest of the year. You have the resources to do it. It's $150. It's not even a cup of coffee a day. It's what you spend for that kit. And it's world class. You send out the mailing, send out the e-reports, do the social media, 5 calls a day, 2 notes a day, 7 pop-bys a day, 5 days a week through the end of the year. You'll be a different man by the end of the year. A different man. Then we're going to get you a coach. And in 2025, when the market starts turning hot, you're going to do something you've never done in 17 years, which is build a business. Not just make a lot of sales. You're going to build a business. And the next 10 years of your career, you're going to set yourself up for the rest of your life. And that is 100% doable for you, man, if you want to do it.
Amen. God bless you. Thank you so much.
All right. Well, here's the thing. I went from almost driving the super shuttle to flying in my own Learjet, doing the thing I just told you to do. No difference. So I have great empathy for you, but I also know it can be done. All right. Who's next for Santa's Grotto? I think we got time for one more.
Great. Well, then our last question here is going to come from Ann Pizarro. She's got a great question about setting herself apart. A little bit different way that the market's kind of structured out there and the way that they work with clients, but she's got a great question about that. So, Ann, you are up. Go ahead and ask your question to Brian.
Thanks, Derek.
Where are you from, Ann?
Oh, I'm in Nassau County.
Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah, my father was actually American born. A lot of people don't know that. And he lived in a place called Glen Cove.
Glen
out
Cove.
on Long Island. So there you
I
go.
know it well. I'm a few minutes away from there. So,
that's great.
being from New York, we are an attorney state. So we don't have negotiating from inspections in this market. It's been that way for the last 4 or 5 years. And because we are an attorney state, we don't write contracts. So we're not glorified door openers. I know that. But with the NAR changes coming, I know my unique selling proposition. I work with my coach on that. But I'm wondering if you have any suggestions for me to set myself apart when I'm talking to buyers so I can get that agreement, something we also don't use here historically, signed for a good amount.
Yeah. So first of all, tune in next month, right? July 22nd, mark your calendar. I'll be walking you through it. What we have to do is articulate our value. And one of the ways we articulate our value is we let people know everything we do. And so I'm going to be sharing all the things, there's contractual things. And it's one of the reasons we got in this trouble is New York and Washington, D.C. attorneys, because the businesses run a little bit different than the rest of the country. So I'm actually kind of well aware. So the first thing is, I said this full service excellence. And if you guys want to put up on the screen the definition there, it's the act of going beyond customer expectations and delivering an industry-leading experience that wows your clients. So that's the first thing you're making a commitment to. And then you're going to be able to show the details. So next month, I'm going to reveal, hey, here's the top 10 things I do, and here's the other 90 things that are done to represent a buyer. The other dynamic of working by referral is, and I'm here before, during, and after the sale. When I hand you the keys to the house, that's not when my job ends. It's actually when it begins. So, for example, you're moving in and all of a sudden the furnace doesn't work. You're going to give me a call. 6 months from now, you're thinking of, changing out the decor. You're going to want a designer. You're going to give me a call. And by the way, I'm going to be in touch with you regularly. So if you need any trade or professional service or any questions at all, I'm here all the time. And I will be checking in with you frequently. I'll be here every month providing you value and information. I'll be sharing with you information on how to pay off your mortgage sooner, how to increase your equity. What are the kinds of things you want to invest in your home that give you the maximum appreciation versus the things that you can invest in your home that don't give you any appreciation at all. So I'm here before, during, and after the sale. And so this is not a transaction for me. This is a relationship. You become a customer for life, and I'm going to continue to serve you. And so there's lots of people who do things cheaper. And again, people can go and get their own car fixed, or they can go to the dealership, get the loaner, and have the car delivered back to them that's spanking clean. And that's the kind of business that I do. And that's what this whole new designation of the certified full service professional is, right? We're going to have you put that on your business card, where you're going to go through this training, Ann, and you're going to put on your business card that you are a certified full service professional, okay? You're going to have it on your letterhead. You're going to explain what it means to people. So if you have that logo there, Case, you can show it there. You're going to be putting that everywhere. This is going to be one of your unique selling propositions. You're also part of this network. of some of the finest agents, most productive network in real estate, whether it's getting their home sold or if they're going to move out of state or buy a vacation home. You're part of that network. You're coached by the premier coaching company in real estate. So you yourself are committed to a high level of professionalism. So everything, in fact, of the 5 elements of this new training program, a full 5th of it is about developing a new unique selling proposition in this new era of real estate. So you're asking a great question, and it's pivotal more than ever before. And what you're going to hear, and especially in the New York area, like downtown Manhattan, like you'll hear these people on the money shows going, yeah, I'm a lawyer. I just did it myself. It's no big deal. Well, it's one thing to buy an apartment in a block that every apartment's identical and all the rules are the same and everything, they have the same paperwork and whatever. That's one thing. And even then, it can be challenging as opposed to buying a single family home in Nassau County. So we really have to differentiate. We have to communicate, articulate our value, tell everybody what it is we do. And we're putting that package together for you to be able to do it in a new way, because it has to be done in a new way because the industry's come under attack. It's not just you and you're not just feeling it. So, and make sure you're on the mid-year bold predictions. And I'm going to walk you through this. And as one of our A-plus clients, we're going to take care of you and help you brand yourself properly so you can provide full professional services and charge appropriate professional fees. That's where you're going to be, and you're talking about right exactly where we're taking our whole database. So thanks for joining me today, Anne. I wish you the best of luck. Join me on the 22nd of July. Look forward to that with the old bold predictions. DJ, thanks for hanging in. And if anybody has any questions, continue to ask them. And me and the team will continue to answer your questions on Facebook Live. I believe this is going to be continually on Facebook here so people can watch it later on. Tell us where you're from and what your question is, and we'll make sure our team follows up with you. So thanks for joining me today.